I'm having my makeup done by Olivia.
Hello.
Welcome to my channel. So this is a little bit of a longer video than usual, and I hope that you get something out of it. And right now, we're gonna go back to the beginning when I had a bare face until now. Welcome, Olivia.
Hi.
It is great having you do my makeup today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Olivia is a skilled makeup artist, and she's worked in the past for a well-known makeup company and occasionally worked with some influencers.
Yeah, I worked for Morphe back in 2019, and it's a very influencer heavy brand, so I definitely brushed shoulders with some during my time there. Got to play with a lot of fun makeup while I was there too, so I'm excited to kind of play around again. It's been a while. I usually just do my own makeup from time to time, but this will be fun.
Awesome. All right, so hopefully you guys will get some hints from this. I'm going to put my hair back and then we are going to get started.
Perfect.
Also, I will take off my glasses so you can reach my face.
All right. So we are going to start with a tinted SPF primer. This one's from e.l.f. It is a dupe for the Super Glow, but I like to use beauty blenders for primers and foundations because I feel like it keeps a lot of the product, but it also blends it in really nicely. So we're just gonna get in there with some product, and you just do soft bounces on the face because you don't want it to cake up too much. You kind of just want a nice thin layer.
And I noticed you did wet the sponge first.
Yeah, so that helps the sponge not absorb as much product, and it just makes it a little softer to work with. I find that my makeup blurs a little bit better when they're more wet. Look up for me. Perfect. Okay. So once we kind of have a good foundation base, we also bring it down into the neck a little bit because we'll bring some foundation down the neck. We are going to go in with the Wet n Wild foundation, and this is in this shade Soft Ivory. Perfect. Never used to this before. I like the applicator.
I do too.
Yeah. It's like a spatula.
Yeah.
I always like to just put it on the back of my hand again because I feel like I can control how much product I'm getting. So we will just kind of dab it and then just, again, light sponges around the face. We don't want to go, I feel like the look I'm going to go for on you is like more of an everyday look. So kind of a barely there type of makeup, but I think the sponge also kind of helps with a lighter coverage. You can already see you're getting such a nice little foundation base as well.
I know, I tend to use my fingers all the time.
Yeah, fingers are really great tools. I just, typically when I do somebody else's makeup, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable with my hands all over their face.
Right.
So I just try to use a tool. We want to make sure we get in around the nose too. That's usually my problem area.
Same
That's
here.
where I tend to crease the most in my makeup.
Yeah,
So
for
I always try to make sure that I get in very close around the corners. Here.
That's where I notice I need to have my face moisturized. If it's at all dry, it just won't blend.
Yeah.
Around the creases of the nose.
Yeah. Especially as we get older with more fine lines and wrinkles too. It can settle a little bit differently, but that's why they always say like cream-based makeups are going to be the best for that because it allows, it won't settle into the lines as much as like a powder will. Look up for me.
And this must be different for you working with 60-something.
Yeah, I don't think I've done a lot of makeup on mature skin, so this is, it's fun. It's a good, you know, challenge, because obviously I've noticed like my skin has changed as I've gotten older. So it'll be, I'm definitely noticing like some obviously differences, but also some similarities in where I pay attention to the placement.
Right.
If you could look up one more time for me. I'm just going to try and blend this as close to the eye as possible. Perfect. All right, I really like how this blends out on you too.
Oh, good. I know one of my videos that had the most views was on this Wet n Wild foundation.
Oh, okay. I know Wet n Wild's a very popular brand because they are more of a value brand, but they do have really good products from time to time. I think my favorite brand is e.l.f. right now, but they're very similar to Morphe.
Right.
Okay, so we've done your primer and foundation, and now we're going to go in with some concealer, but we're going to use that more as like for highlight and contour is how I like to use concealer, but also using it to kind of cover up some of any like problem areas or spots or things I want to conceal. So right here we have the CoverGirl Clean Invisible, so we'll go in with this and use this as kind of more of like a cover up for any spots we want to diagnose.
Kind of darker hollows from
so
aging under my eyes.
Put some right here, and I usually just dab in spots, and then let the product kind of move where I want it. Okay, and then we'll also go in. I brought something. This is a Milk Makeup Sculpt Stick, but it's kind of essentially just like another concealer. It's just a dark, used for contour, but I will use my finger for this. So here we're just gonna kind of like accentuate a little bit, but not too much, just around your cheekbones. Because we want to lift the face.
Yes, we do.
And then we'll just accentuate here. And then right in here. And then since we're using a lot of cream-based products again, so I usually go in with everything and kind of map out where my blush will go, my concealer will go, and I do it all in one spot, and then I blend it all together. And I find that it blends just a little more seamlessly. So this is the Rare Beauty, what do they call this? I forget what they call it, but it's a Rare Beauty cream blush. This is actually Selena Gomez's brand.
Ooh, such a pretty color.
Yeah, this is in the shade Happy. Just a very bright pink, which I think will add like a nice flush to your face. And this goes a very long way, so really the smallest amount possible. And I'll even like, I'm not even joking, I use like one dot here, and sometimes that's even too much. So I'm just going to go in with my pinky because we don't want to blush you out too much. I'm going to dab it so I get some of the excess off, and then I'm just going to kind of place it right here on your higher cheekbone area. But this will add a really nice pop. Okay, and then I like to go back in again with the Beauty Blender.
And let me say so that you can see real quick. Okay, you can see the dots. Okay,
and then we'll just blend that out. So you just start with the blush. And this blends out so nicely. I'm sure there's a lot of other dupes for it, but I like to bring it back up a bit and then just really focus right on the cheekbones and closer to the apple, because I feel like that makes me feel like I look like a little doll. And I really like that look right now. And then we want to make sure we blend out like our contour areas too. And then after we go in with all of this, because it'll help set everything with using the creams, we're going to just go in with kind of a powder version of everything. So that we, I think that started to set a bit. So I'm going to go in with a brush because sometimes when it sets, the blender isn't the best tool. So I think that's more of a matter of learning different products. If you had something that stayed a little bit more creamy on the skin, then you could use that blender to blend out. But we're just going to softly stroke down. Sorry, a spot just kind of.
I have a lot of dry skin there.
Oh no, it was, I think it definitely was the concealer just kind of drying on the spot. Now the finger's the best tool.
Yeah.
Because of the way the concealer dried. Perfect. Okay. All right. And then if you could just look at me. Just want to make sure we got you pretty blended there. Not all blended. Make sure we get the spots we added down here. And this again just adds some definition to the face. I kind of like to look at a lot of pictures for inspiration and see like how people place their product to see the shape it creates, and then obviously like working just kind of with what works best for you. Right. So I really like how this blush is on you because it just makes it look very like a light sheer. So we did the perfect amount. So again, like this is how much product I put on my hand and we didn't even use all of that. Amazing. So very little amount.
Do you need a tissue for your hand?
Oh, yes, I will take a tissue. Thank you. I know by the time I'm done doing my makeup, my hand looks like a little artist palette. Okay. So next we are just, like I said, going to go in with some powder versions to kind of set everything. We are going to go in, this is your angled foundation brush. Sorry, oh, contour brush, okay. So then again, just trying to keep it as light as possible. I always tap off a little bit of excess. And this is an e.l.f. contour palette.
It is.
In the shade, is there a shade on here?
I don't think so.
I don't see one, but just a standard, I'd say, contour palette from e.l.f.
I do know this is one I purchased, and there was a darker version on this shelf with it, and I couldn't find names, but I went with the lighter since I'm a fair-skinned person.
Yeah, that's typically, I usually, it's so funny, I spent a lot of time in the sun, and always would buy like medium tan to, you know, medium to tan based product, and now that's just so dark for me. Sometimes in the summertime it works really well, but I'd say most of the time it doesn't. And then we are going to go in with just a little bit of this lighter color in the top corner. Sorry, I went in first with this bottom color that's not quite the darkest. And then we're going to go in with the lighter color on the top that's not quite the lightest. And we're just going to set the forehead. Also adding some brightness up there too, because that's where we want the light to pick up, is right in the center. And then blending it out. Right below where that contour was placed, right on the jawline.
This is really interesting. You're putting highlighter in places I hadn't ever thought of doing it.
Yeah,
so
I always just do a very like soft touch to it, because again, I just want to highlight the spots of my face that I want to kind of perk up a bit more. So always the top of my cheekbones, the center of my forehead, and then usually I'll do my jawline right under where I do contour a little bit in the cheekbones.
Okay.
So it just adds a little bit more definition. Okay, so now we will go in with just, this is a Revlon Sculpt Quad. I'm going to go in with this peachy blush here. Not too much because I do like the color you got from the cream blush, but I think it'll just add a nice glow.
You can see that blush has been used a bit.
I have plenty of product that's hit pan. It just means it really works for us and we like what it does. So again, just very soft on the cheeks because we don't want it too powdery. And we, again, still, I love that Rare Beauty color we used on you.
Oh yeah, so pretty.
Okay, now I brought a something that I got actually when I worked at Morphe. Morphe was owned by a parent company that also worked with influencer Jaclyn Hill on her brand. She no longer has the cosmetic brand, but this is one of her first launches, and it's a highlighter powder. It's I'd say in same vein as this, very pigmented, and a little goes a very long way. But we're just going to use it to just add a little more sparkle. It's like very sparkly. I'd say pretty.
Do you think they've discontinued this since she's...
I know that they've sold through most of their inventory. I think they did like heavy discounts to get rid of most of it, but
there might be a similar product.
Yeah,
elsewhere.
I'm sure you could find something very similar. It's just a loose highlighting powder. So I think NARS is a really good company that's definitely, I'd say, on the higher end of budget, but they have really good quality products, and they have a lot of highlighting and blush and contour product that are really nice. So I'm actually going to go in a little bit more unconventionally with a different brush that you would typically use for foundation. So it's more of a compact, but I think I like the angle and the way that this is shaped to apply this. So again, like, I'm just gonna get the tiniest dot on the corner.
I love it.
And then I'm gonna dab it off because we don't want to look super glowy, but I think it'll keep your skin looking more dewy, which is kind of what I want to go for. So the tiniest amount, and then we're just gonna like brush this upwards, and you can already see, I hope the camera can pick that up, but like it already left kind of a brighter streak on your high cheekbone. Sometimes I get a little too happy with this, but it's really good like for nighttime. If I'm going out, I want more of a shine or a sheen on my face, and so I'll use a lot of this. So then we're going to do that, and then after we kind of get everything placed with the powders, we're going to go in with the fluffy brush, like a kabuki brush, and we're going to blend everything out so it doesn't feel so
marked out.
Yeah, exactly. It'll soften everything. So I always like to just do a slight highlight on the bridge of the nose too, because I think that's always such a beautiful part of our faces. So then we'll just go in and we'll kind of brush everything out. Especially with the powders we add, this is good because it'll remove any excess, which means it won't settle as much. And I've used a pretty light hand, but I think it just left such like a beautiful base for your face. And always drag down the neck a bit so it blends in some more. One of my favorite things. I don't know if this is mean to do or not, but when I watch a lot of reality TV, and the lighting just isn't ideal for anybody's makeup in that.
Right.
But it's funny because a lot of the girls don't blend their foundation down, so their face looks a completely different color from their body.
I never noticed that.
And I always just want to tell them blend down because it'll help.
Yeah. We'll say I often like take it down.
Yes, I do too. Yeah. I definitely
also tend to contour to get rid of my jowl here.
Yeah, that's honestly something I never think about. So it's good to know about that. So we just finished with all the powders. What I like to do before I even go in doing my eyes is I like to just spray a setting mist, and then we'll do this again when your eyes are done too, and that way it just kind of helps everything melt into your face a bit more. So close your eyes. And then we'll fan.
So much easier when someone else does the setting mist.
I know.
Because then you know it's aimed at your face.
Yeah, I use, I forgot to bring it with me, but I use, I use a Morphe setting spray that's actually really popular. It's in a, I don't think it's aerosol, but it's in a compressed air can, so it mists very differently. It's a continuous mist. But this one I've heard really good things about, the NYX Dewy Finish. Morphe has something very similar to that, and I know e.l.f. does too. Okay, so before we go in with any lips, I always like to do the eyes. For the eyes, I'm a very basic, like 1-2 colors maybe. If I don't do colors, I'll just do a pop of shimmer on the center of the lid to give my eyes a brighter finish. And sometimes I'll go in with eyeliner if I want a little bit more definition. We won't do too much, I think, eyeliner or anything, and I think I want to do kind of like I'm seeing like a golden or champagne type glow maybe with a little bit of bronze.
Ooh, fun.
And then I got 2 eyeliners we can try or not try. We'll see how
Okay.
we feel. But I got like a navy blue because I've read that it contrasts well with blue eyes.
I've got blue eyes,
Yes.
by the way.
And then a bronze as well because that, or I'm sorry, the navy blue complements, the bronze will contrast.
Gotcha.
So it'll make them pop.
Gotcha.
And then for the cream aspect, we don't want to use too much powder, but I will go in with some powder shadows. I have this Maybelline Tattoo Eye Stix here.
Color better.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Like a rose gold.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
I don't know if the shade name is on here. Oh, I Am Inspired, shade 20. So
Super
again,
pretty.
this is the Maybelline Color Tattoo.
Wow.
Oh. Okay. So I think I'm just gonna see kind of how that looks because I like to place the colors depending on the shade. So since this is I'd say on the darker side of a shimmer, we'll keep that closer to the outer corner. And then we want the inner corners of your eyes to pop a bit more. So we'll do a little bit more of a bright shimmer.
Okay.
So with this, we can kind of come in here and I'm just gonna dab a bit and we'll use a brush to blend this out. But just to get a good base of the product on there. Okay. So I'm doing this in the outer corners. And then because your eyes are on the more hooded side, we're gonna focus more on that, more where your brow bone starts to come out.
Good idea.
So that way it sits right above and you can still see it. But we're not gonna go too heavy because obviously we want to keep everything a little bit lighter. So you'll take a fluffier blending brush like this, and this is really good for cream-based products. You can just blend it out a bit before I start going in with more other colors. I really like the way this blends out too. So again, bringing this up towards the brow a bit more so that when your eye is just resting, we'll see some of that color come out.
Yeah, I've noticed when I put color in my actual crease, you can't see it because of the way my eyes kind of like
and that's
go down.
Totally. I think that's a really common problem. And not that it's a problem, I think it's just a really common thing that a lot of people have to kind of work with. So I brought several palettes from Morphe. So again, things I got during my time there, but this is a true Morphe palette. It's more on the more warm side.
Very warm,
but warm neutrals. So this would be like about the same shade as the color we just used. I don't have the name sheet anymore, but if you looking, it's the third color in from the left, and if you're looking at the palette, it's like a rose gold champagne color. So I think we're just going to use some of this because that cream gave us a nice base. So I'm using that essentially instead of primer. And then I'll go in with a little bit of primer in the inner corner. Just pop this on the outside, again bringing it up. Sometimes I used to use cream shadow a lot when I was younger, and then I think the trends just kind of more transitioned towards using a lot of like powder shadows for like smoky eyes and things like that. So I always forget how nice cream shadows can be as a base, but also kind of on a standalone. Like I think if somebody went in with this just kind of all over, it would look really pretty. So we're going to take a little bit of the Milani eyeshadow primer, just a tiny amount. I think that's the key word today is tiny.
I usually take it and then mix it between my fingers and put it on.
I usually do that too. I think it's just the best way to apply. So
otherwise it's too goopy.
So we're just going to pack that in. We're going to blend it out towards, since this has kind of a tint to it, we're just going to blend it out towards the bronze color. And that way it'll give us a nice base to blend any other colors in there. Okay. So this is one of my favorites. Again, it's this was actually sold through Morphe before Jaclyn Hill got her makeup line. It's a little used, but I use this one all the time.
Ooh,
it's the
great.
Yeah, it's the Armed and Gorgeous palette. This was released. It was called like her Vault collection. Because she released a really popular palette with Morphe, the Jaclyn Hill palette, and then these were kind of extra shades that didn't make it in the palette, but this is one of them. It was a series of 4, so very like army inspired, but yellows and greens. But there's a color I use a lot in here called VIP, and it's just a really pearly, shimmery white color that I really love to put near the inner corners of my eye because it just makes them pop a lot. So we're gonna use a slightly smaller shadow brush, just like that, and we're just gonna take a little bit. This one again is kind of a little, goes a long way. Dab off any extra, and then we're going to just pop that near the inner corner, even bring it down a little bit. And I kind of use this in 2 ways, eyeshadow and a little bit of highlight.
That's great because I tend to be very dark in that corner.
Yeah, this really brightens up my eyes. Also, I kind of feel like I get darker here in the inner corner and down under my eyes. So I really like bringing this in and as down as I like, because it just makes it pop.
Yeah.
So also taking time to blend it. Open. Perfect close. Just gonna blend this side a bit more. Okay. So I have done makeup for a while, but I think I apply it in not an unconventional way, just in a slightly different order than most people would. So I feel like when most people do their eyes, they'll start on the outside and go inward, which I kind of did, but I'm leaving your middle exposed right now. So I'm gonna go in with...
Can we get it closer so you can see what's happening so far?
Yes.
Okay.
So I am looking for a shade that has a little bit more matte to it, which this one does, but I think we might find it in the Jaclyn Hill palette. So this one, so this one is a little more matte, but also still has a shimmer to it. So does Beam. I think we're going to use Beam because I feel like in light might
Those are gorgeous colors. All of them.
This one is a really popular palette that like a lot of makeup artists will use for brides, or they'll just have in their makeup kit because it's so versatile.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It has every kind of part of the color.
I know. Yeah. So there's these 2 colors here in Light and Beam that I commonly use to highlight under my brow bone, which we will do on you as well. But I'm going to use a little bit of Beam in your middle lid because I think that'll just give it a nice pop and blending into the VIP color we used in the Armed and Fabulous palette, and then into that rose gold I Am Fabulous color.
And I will try to list all these items in the description. There won't be links directly to them, but you can see what they are and find them.
Yeah.
Or not find them if they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I know. I'm sorry. I didn't even think about using products that had discontinued, but I feel like there's a lot of really good dupes out there. I think for a time, Morphe, for the time I had worked there especially, I feel like Morphe was kind of everywhere, and a lot of brands were trying to emulate what they did in terms of product. So I think e.l.f. is going to be a great product to go to. I know there's a lot of brands that you can find in Ulta or Sephora that have really big eyeshadow palettes similar to this. ColourPop is a really popular brand that has a lot of eyeshadow palettes as well that are really fun to play with. So we're just going to take that Beam color and we're going to blend it into the inner corner, but also into the outer as well. And this is like the perfect transition shade between the 2. So we just want to make it super...
Sure, it's making my blonde eyelashes even blonder, isn't it?
No, I mean, it might be settling a bit on there. Yeah, I feel like it's maybe giving them a little bit of a blonde glow. But we'll take care of that with some mascara. So again, trying to remember to blend up because we want to bring it as high above your crease as possible so we can see that there is some color. But I think keeping the eyelids light too will get rid of some of like any heaviness or darker, like having it feel darker because of the hooded eye. Perfect. All right. Eyeshadow is done. Next, we're gonna go in for brows.
Use my little hand here and look real quick.
Yeah.
Ooh, so subtle.
Yeah, very subtle. Again, I'm a big fan of like less is more.
Right.
You can tell you're wearing makeup, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look like you're wearing
just makes
a
me look
ton of
better.
makeup.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go in with the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I personally use this a lot, so I was excited to see you have this. I love this pencil so much. If I'm not using this one, I used Morphe for a really long time. So now I just kind of find something that's similar to the Morphe brow pencil, and this is actually a really close comparison, as is the e.l.f. one too.
Right.
And
Look
color,
at you so you get them in
yeah,
the right.
and ColourPop has a similar pencil as well. That I actually didn't like that much, but
the first time I got this eyebrow pencil, I got it in blonde, and I didn't like that shade of blonde on me. It was kind of a weird reddish blonde that didn't go ironically with me, even though I had red hair.
Yeah.
So that's why I got this brown, ash brown, in the next time.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I tend to use like a deep brown because the base of my hair is so dark.
Right.
My sister is an esthetician and she will wax and tint my brows for me.
Neat.
She used one recently that was like a lighter brown than I'm used to. And it made my eyebrows look red or even blonder. I feel like it maybe bleached them a little bit, even though it didn't, but it made them look lighter. So we're just going to go in with the lightest hand possible. I like to map out a brow. And something helpful too is using your nose as a guide of like where the points of your eyebrow should be. So if you put the pencil here by the nostril, you'll see your ends of your brows are perfect, but then open your eyes for me. If we use the pencil and go right on the outside of your iris, that's where we kind of want our arch to fall. So I'm going to kind of pinpoint that there. And I'm just going to be so light-handed and kind of giving you shape. We want to line more from underneath.
Okay.
That's where more definition is it's gonna look better with more definition down there, and then you can always blend up.
I should have brought a dog toy out for the dog. Stop. Just grabbing my sleeve.
Then I just do little flicks because I feel like that looks the most natural. I'm not one that likes my brows to look super drawn on. I want them to look like essentially there's nothing there and that I'm maybe just giving them a little extra life.
Right.
And then trying to follow obviously as natural of a brow shape as possible.
And I do still have brows, it's just you can't see them.
They are there.
They're just so very light that you can't see them without coloring them. Yeah.
So then we'll come over here. It's gonna kind of.
And I actually like my natural arch. I think it's a nice arch.
Yeah, you have a very good base. At this point, it's just kind of trying to fight biology and adding the tint that was there for so long. I'm already noticing kind of my brows are lightening a lot over time. So that's why I like to have my sister tint them for me, so I don't really have to feel like I do them as much.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, this is a really beautiful color for your eyebrows. I feel like it's perfect.
And you are doing it very lightly.
Yeah, the lightest strokes, because again, you can always add more. If you do too much, you can't really, I mean, you have to essentially wipe it all off and to take it away. But this pencil also blends out really nicely. So if I ever feel like I got maybe a little too heavy-handed, I'll just kind of gently brush through the eyebrow to brush out some of that color, and then it does the work for you also.
I do have an older video on doing eyebrows,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I might redo that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I always start from the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll line under my brow and then I'll brush upward.
They're so pretty. Look at that.
Yeah, I
Beautiful
think they
brows.
just came out so natural looking.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, really.
I love them.
They look
Beautiful.
so pretty, yeah. So yeah, always start under and then just kind of outline the map, and then I will focus more in tinting the ends of my brows and then just the lightest little flicks of the wrist for the inner part.
Yeah. Gosh, they're so pretty.
I'm glad you like them.
Brows are so important.
Yeah, so I think I do want to go in with a little bit of this bronze color just on the very, like, I would say outer corner of the top of your eye, and then we'll blend it in with a brush, and I think that'll give it a very blurred, but I think you'll have some definition there. That'll look nice. So I always, with cream products too, or pencils, I always rub on the back of my hand to warm it up a bit, and I feel like it just applies a little bit better. Sorry. So as close to the lash line as possible. And I'm just, I think I'm also using this two different ways as well. One for an eyeliner, but we'll blend this upward a little bit. And it'll also kind of act as another contrasting eyeshadow color. So again, with a blurring brush, a fluffier eyeshadow brush, I'm just going to go in close to that color and we're going to blend, blend, blend. We don't want to bring it in too far to the corner because again, the goal in there is to lighten, but this will just add some definition. I heard you got a new wig.
I did.
I think that it'll look so pretty with this makeup look. You should try it on after.
I'm loving the wig.
Good. Yeah, it looked really pretty. I saw a picture of it. Okay. Next we'll go in with our mascaras. So we have a primer here, and then we have the Revlon So Fierce Big Bad Lash. Have you reviewed this on your channel?
So I believe my last video was a review on this one, and yeah, this Lash Paradise is white.
Yeah. I know those are always fun to put on. I had one before that was like,
so if you want to see close up, you can watch that video. It's gonna be hard to see from this distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you find? Do you find the primer helps like give you some length, or what do you feel
more
works
than
best?
a length? I feel it gives me something for the mascara to hang on to.
Okay.
Because I have older lashes, they're very slippery. They're very kind of they're not very voluptuous anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
So it almost gives them body. So then the mascara has something to hang on to. I don't feel that I have big bad lashes, but you can see my lashes where naturally you cannot.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm gonna, what
This
I
is
like,
yours.
I know, what I like, so this is how I like to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can kind of partner together.
Yeah.
I hold the brush pretty close to my eye and then I'll blink. So I'll let my eye do the work.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna hold it as close as possible and then I'm gonna ask you to blink. Okay, go ahead and blink. Perfect, keep blinking. Blink, blink, blink.
Like I'm at the eye doctor.
I know. Perfect, it's actually working really well. Okay, we're gonna go back in for more and go on the other side.
Yeah, see, it's white.
Yeah, I know. Now your eyelashes look more blonde.
Oh, be quiet, puppy dog.
Okay, blink, blink,
She's
blink.
being very good, you guys.
She is.
Normally, she doesn't have to be quiet for such a long video. Hush, puppy, hush.
What are you doing? Are you talking to me?
No talk. We're doing my eyes.
Yeah.
Knock it off. I should have brought a toy for sure.
And then I always find the trickiest part for me is going in towards the inner corner. I'm just gonna try and get as close as I can. Perfect. Okay.
All right. So take a look here.
Again, very.
And I won't do close up for you guys because it's just white.
Yeah.
There's nothing to see really.
Yeah. So then we'll go on with this.
Yeah, this is kind of a thick
I'm sorry.
bristle here. It's not like a thin one.
That's
So
pretty good.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, the camera's over there. So that's a nice chunky brush.
It is.
So usually that helps grab a good amount.
Do you want me to blink still, or are you just gonna?
I'm gonna do little flicks, and
Okay,
then
perfect.
I think to finish, I'll ask you to blink because I like. And so for me, we talked about this a little bit before as we were kind of grabbing everything, the eyelash curler. I don't like eyelash curlers.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like they pull the eyelashes out, and I think your mascara does just as good to curl them. That's also where I feel like the blinking helps, because when you're pushing your eyelids down, your lashes are going up against the brush.
Right.
And I feel like it just gives them a little bit more of a natural lift.
Right.
So I'm just going to go in really light on this first time, because I feel like in similar vein to the primer, it's going to dry a little bit. So when we go in with more, it's going to hold on to that, that lash a little bit more.
I should have brought Q-tips out for any that got away.
Oh, I think we're managing pretty well. So this brush, have you tried other brushes, like more like rubberized brushes?
I do have, I would say like Sky High has a rubberized brush, and like thinner also. Yeah.
So we're just gonna go in with a little bit more.
Okay.
Close. Perfect. Okay, now open and blink. There you go. Yeah. See, I really like this method, and I feel like it works really well for you. Yeah, this mascara does flake a bit, so we'll go in and pick some of that off, or wipe some of that off at the end.
Yeah, every mascara has its own thing.
I know, yeah. Right now, I'm really into tubing mascaras.
Ooh, I've heard of that, and I've thought of trying it out.
Yeah, I haven't tried this one, but I've heard Milani has a really good one. I use one from a brand called Tarte, which I really love the brand Tarte. They're mainly sold in Ulta and Sephora, but they use a lot of like, they're very like island inspired, so they use like a lot of Amazonian clay and like maracuja oil and things like that in their products. So they're always very creamy, moisturizing, but they have a really great mascara. I love their mascaras. I feel like they always do really well for my eyes. But the tubing mascaras are so cool because it's like polymers, I guess, that wrap around your lashes. So you don't get the pigment, you know,
I'll have
streaking.
to try them. And I've heard they're pretty easy to take off. You just have to kind of get them wet.
Yep. You just wet down, or like people use like an oil-based makeup remover, and you just rub your eyes, and you'll pull down, and you'll see little tubes on your fingers. Just want to get a little bit more in the inner corner.
That's a hard area to get on me.
Look up for me.
So hard.
I know, it's okay. Try your best. There you go. I think we just needed a little bit. Okay, perfect. But in looking up, we got some transfers. So we'll just wait for that to dry. It's best to wait for your mascara to dry if you get it on your skin. And that way it's easier to flake off. Yes, that is a key tip I had learned.
That is good to know. I always take a Q-tip and
I know,
right away.
yeah. So you can go in, like what we'll probably do is we'll go in with your eyebrow pencil brush and then the spoolie, and then you can just flick the little flakes away.
Cool.
But it'll take a minute. Okay, so lips. We'll wait for your mascara to dry, and then we'll clean that up, but we'll go in with the lips first. So we have 2 different lip pencil options here. Right now, I'm just trying to make the decision of which one I want to use. I chose from your set that you have some really pretty like pinks and mauves. Those are my favorite colors, and I think they're really just nice daytime colors because again, I'm all about less is more, looking as natural as possible. For sure. And we're not going for like a full glam type of look.
That'll be some other video.
That would be fun. Huh? So I just need to make a decision here.
I know, hard to decide, isn't it?
I think I really like this Flower Beauty.
Flower it's very pretty, natural.
Yeah. So we'll use the Flower Beauty, and then I kind of want to see, I like using browns and pinks together because I think it adds definition, and I just love the way they blend together. So I'm interested in using this probably on the outer part of your lips, and then we'll use this pink lip liner on the inner parts to make the pink of the lipstick pop.
Okay.
So really light-handed again. We're gonna just go very light sheen on the lip, and then go more heavier-handed, not heavy-handed, but heavier-handed with the Flower Beauty lipstick. So. We'll keep this mostly on the line of your lip. You can go like this way. Yep, perfect. I like to do even just a little bit here because I like the way the contrast looks. And then on this part. Lip liner is so hard to do on my own. It's a different challenge on somebody else, but we're doing it.
Okay. It still works. It needs sharpening, but it's good.
Perfect. So then I usually with the center, I kind of just go all over, and I'm not trying to be perfect about it because I want to use this as a pretty good base. So then after I kind of get, obviously being more attentive on the top lip because I feel like that's just a more delicate area. But then what I'll have you do is it might feel a little tacky, but I want you to kind of just rub your lips together. You could even go in with your finger, like your pinky, and just blend it. Yeah.
How's that?
Perfect.
All right.
Okay. That's what I always do with my lip liners is I use two colors a lot, and then I'll do just one solid color on the lips with the lipstick, but I'll always like blend it really well because I feel like it just gives more of a dimension that I like.
Right.
Okay, so with the Flower Beauty. Close and
such a pretty color, isn't it?
Yes. And then if you want to take a tissue, and I always like to just put it on and just kind of blot over the tissue, and that'll take off any extra product and usually helps it stay on a bit longer. Okay. So once you do that, we'll get your. Okay. So if you want to look up for me. Perfect. Yeah, that flaked right off. This one's being a little tricky. I think nothing our finger can't blend out. Oh, I actually forgot to do one step on your eyebrows, but that's just adding the brow highlight. So again, with hooded eyes, we just want to make sure that we are lifting. And so doing that with a brow highlight on your brow bone, it'll just accentuate your eyes a bit more.
Yeah.
So
like a mini facelift.
Yeah, exactly. So I usually like to take kind of a smaller brush like that. Sorry, trying to find the best spot to show. And then I'll do it just on the edge of the brush. I'm going to go in with this beam color because it's a little cooler than in light. Then I like to tap off some of the extra. So again, that it's just like on the outer edge of the brush. And then I'll just blur it out right here. But yeah, it adds such a nice little like champagne-y type of pop almost. Perfect. So I think we're almost set. I just need to set your face.
And I'll take my hair out of the ponytail.
Yeah, we'll be good. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I really like how this has come out. It actually just looks so glowy and dewy.
I love it.
Yeah, very pretty.
I'm drying it with my
Yes.
hand.
I know some people will get little handheld fans and they'll just like hold it there so that it dries faster.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I wonder if this
Or
would
they'll
work.
get one of the hand fans too.
All right. Again, I want to thank you, Olivia,
Of course.
for doing my makeup, and hopefully you guys got some helpful hints from watching. And I'll try to list all the products in the description, and I hope to see you in the future.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.